The Absolute Law of Karma, written by Shri Pandit Ram Sharma Ji Acharya, Chapter 1, Audio 1. Who maintains the record of sins and virtues? A verse in the scripture states that a suppressed conscience takes one to hell and the awakened conscience leads to heaven. This statement explains the enigma of heaven and hell. An individual himself is responsible for creating heaven or hell in his life. Scriptures, Garud Purana, describe this phenomena metaphorically. It is mentioned that in the astral world, there lives a deity named Chitragupta, who maintains the record of good and evil deeds of a sentient being. When a living being dies and its soul enters the astral world, this deity presents the record of its good and evil deeds, and based on this account, the soul is assigned to live in heaven or hell. Common sense would not accept existence of a deity like Chitragupta. The number of human beings inhabiting this earth itself is in billions. If we take into account the other living beings of millions of non-human species, the total number would be beyond mathematical calculation. It would be an impossible task for an individual to work day and night without rest for millions of years, maintaining records of each moment of life of innumerable beings of the cosmos. Impracticability of maintenance of such a stupendous record puts question mark on the very existence of Chitragupta. Modern science, however, substantiates the reality underlying the metaphorical descriptions given in the scriptures. Science has now established that all mental and verbal and physical activities carried out by an individual having a discriminative mind leave subtle impression on the deeper level of the psyche. In this way, like the compressed audio-visual recording of event on the microscopic chip of the computer and compact disc, all goods and evils deeds are being recorded in the secret chamber of this subconscious mind. This record, like a CD, remains a storage till it is required to be played at a desired moment through an appropriate mechanism. Since time immemorial, enlightenment person in India has wondered about the role of fate in human life. Sanskrit and Hindi literatures have abundant references to the footprint of karma, which it is said cannot be erased by any degree of intellectual endeavor. In Indian spirituality, karma stands for any physical, verbal, mental and social activity. It means that each karma produces an imprint which cannot be erased before creating a reaction. There is a belief that the Creator inscribes the destiny on the forehead of the human being, and this divine inscription cannot be erased by anyone. Let us examine this concept from a scientific point of view. Microscopic examination shows innumerable furrows in the grey matter all over the brain. Medical science has not so far come to know the biological implication of these indentations. Comparative microscopic research studies have shown that the density of these crenulations in the grey matter is highly evolved person and thinker is much more than in the case of common masses. It shows that these microscopic lines in the grey matter of the brain are nothing but compact subtle impressions created by the external activities, which we take as imprints of mental, vocal and physical action. This record of activities on the neurons of grey matter proves the existence of an intelligent mechanism which Hindu mythology refers to as a deity Chitragupta. In Sanskrit language too, the word Chitragupta means a hidden picture. It shows that there existence of the human mind and a hidden chamber, an inner scientific mechanism, or a subtle state of consciousness. We may compare it with the backup file of the executable programs in computer parlance. It is well known that the subtle body coexistence with the physical human body has four components. Man, the source of desire, longing and aspiration. Buddhi, the discriminative faculty which deliberates, takes decision and determines a course of action. Chitta, which stores traits, habits, inclinations and temperament. And Ahankar, the overall personal sense of selfhood, ego. It is also established that Chitta carries forward its records of good and bad impressions after dissolution of the body. It appears the expression Chitragupta of scriptures came to be known as Chitragupta in the course of time. Hence, the internal mechanism of mind which creates the compact subtle recording of human activities could be taken as the deity Chitragupta of human mythology. No doubt, this intelligent mechanism is continuously engaged in maintaining records of all living beings. Since each being has its own personal Chitragupta and therefore for the entire population of animate being, there is an equal number of Chitraguptas. Thus, maintenance of records of innumerable being does not seem to be an impossibility. Human mind has an infinite capacity for storage of information. It is quite possible for the subtle sentient mechanism of subconscious mind to maintain a systematic record of activities of a living being. There is also no contradiction in the one Chitragupta of mythology being countless Chitragupta in innumerable beings. Divine power of God are omnipresent. The universal life force prana is one, but it is individually present in each living being. Similarly, the subtle celestial element designated as deities Indra, Varuna and Agni, Shiva and Yama in mythology is also all pervasive. Air, for instance, in spite of being identified as fresh air of a garden and polluted air of an industrial area, is an integral part of the same atmosphere enveloping the earth. Similarly, through inhabiting and operating in numerous bodies independently, the deity of Chitragupta is a single universal celestial entity. Second topic, how does Chitragupta maintain the record? Let us now discuss the working of the Chitragupta. Why and how this deity evaluates the deeds of a person and what are the yardsticks of this evaluation. We shall also find out how, after physical death, the lines of the fate drawn by Chitragupta determine a soul's new incarnation in condition of hell or heaven. In the foregoing discussion, the reader has been introduced to the concept that our subconscious mind itself operates as a deity Chitragupta. It keeps a continuous micro-record of our good and evil deeds in a condensed form, like the recording on a small compact disc, the details of our virtues and sinful deeds registered microscopically and subtly on certain neurons on an inner chamber of mind. In this way, the writing of Chitragupta could be regarded as a shorthand notes taken by the divine stenographer Chitragupta for present as testimony for the objective evaluation of the total span of our life. We are aware that the human mind works on two levels, one external and the other internal. The outer mind is analytical. It analyzes the pros and cons, accepts and discards, takes decision and change resolutions. The inner mind, on the other hand, is like an innocent but resolute child. It neither accepts nor discards anything, but as a true faithful representative of the divine functions impartially towards divine justice. The external mind may think of escaping punishment by suppressing or overlooking the recording of the lines of evil deeds and highlight only the virtuous deeds for reward. The inner mind, on the other hand, works differently. It takes decision like an unbiased judge of highest integrity, who cannot be influenced or allured by fear or vested interest. It is said that in each human being there is coexist a saint and a devil. You may consider the secret inner mind as a representative of divinity and the external mind which is ever engaged in reasoning, rationalizing, deliberating, conspiring, hypocrisy as a tool of the devil. The external mind may deceive the soul by justifying each and every action of a person. The inner mind, on the contrary, is a flame of the soul and the projection of the absolute truth. It is therefore incapable of conceit and deceit or innately calm and detached. That is why God has entrusted it with such a crucial responsibility for common man. It is the deity Chitragupta being absolute impartial. This deity has been given the high seat of divine judge. Like a secret service agent, this deity is all the time vigilantly shadowing a person and recording its action in its secret diary. In human society, there are two departments for punishing the violators of law, namely the police and the court of justice. The police arrest the accused, collect the evidences and present these in the court of law. Thereafter, the process of justice takes over. The judge delivers the judgment after considering all aspects of the offences and release circumstances. Depending on the circumstantial evidence, individuals are handed down to varied sentences for the same type of offence. Let us consider an example. 3 persons are accused of killing a person because of different circumstances associated with the crime. One is set free, the second person is sentenced to 5 years of imprisonment, and the third is sent to an electric chair. The person who is released was a mason. While working in an elevated level, he was accidentally dropped a brick which killed a passerby. The presiding judge found that the brick was dropped accidentally and unintentionally without an ulterior motive, hence the accused was released without punishment. The second accused was a farmer. Finding a thief stealing his crop, he had given him a fatal blow, killing the offender. Taking these circumstances which prompted the offence, the judge considered that though it was natural for the farmer to show his anger on finding someone stealing his property, nevertheless, since he had overreacted to a small offence, a sentence of 5 years imprisonment was given. The third person was a notorious robber who has robbed a rich man and intentionally killed him in the process. In this way, the worldly court of justice pronounced judgment after minutely examining all the circumstantial evidences. In the inner mind, the secret recording of Chitragupta discharged the dual responsibility of a police and a court of justice. In the material world, it is prosecutors present inadequate and false evidences. The judgment of the court is likely to be unfair, but in the inner occult world, there is absolutely no possibility of such miscarriage of justice. The inmost mind, being the direct and the transparent witness of all the physical as well as the mental activities of the person, is holistically aware of the intention, motive, and circumstances of each and every action. Being holistically informed, the secret mind does not require the testimony of an external mind to arrive at a conclusion. In divine justice, the gravity of the sin or the merit of the virtue is decided on the basis of the motive and the degree of emotional involvement with the deed. Whereas in the material world, objects are measured materially on the basis of their mundane worth. This measure of irrelevant for dispensing divine justice. The material world may ignore a poor donor of 10 cents and admire a person donating $10,000. But in divine jurisprudence, the worth of such an act of altruism will not be assessed by this gross physical basis.